Hey guys, welcome to the EJ Tech Show, and today we're going to be talking about the new Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, the middle child in the S21 family. And look, for the longest time, the Plus variant has always been the de facto flagship in the Galaxy S series. For the longest time, we know that's the most powerful phone of the bunch, but that all changed last year with the launch of the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and also, of course, this year with the launch of the Galaxy S21 Ultra. We've already reviewed this. You can check the video out on the EditG app or on our YouTube channel or wherever you want. But this doesn't mean isn't as good as this. Okay, this is actually a quite impressive phone, and it does come with a lot of features, and of course, that very unique design.
That's the main takeaway for me. It's prettier. That's the main thing. The Phantom Black design that they've done on the S21 Ultra, it is especially unique. It is stunning, but this just looks so much nicer. That violet purple hue that it throws off.
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Cadbury Dairy Milk wrapper.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember those famous ads with that song?
Yeah.
Kiss me and close your eyes and kiss me.
This being a Samsung device, you won't be able to unwrap it like that.
Yeah.
But
And by the way, that song wasn't meant to imply anything. Don't take anything out of that. This relationship is completely platonic. But this is a very beautiful phone. And I think the point of this design is to make it memorable, to make it stand out. So anyone who picks up this phone in their hand, they know that they're holding something from the S21 family.
More than anything, I think this is the first phone I can look at and say, you know what? Phones are now becoming more about style. This is jewelry, basically. When you take that gold accent, you take those stainless steel sides, you take this beautiful matte texture at the back. This is basically jewelry, which runs an Exynos 2100 chip. That's basically all this is.
Yeah, there are other colors as well. We'll put up a picture for you guys. But this is the nicest.
By far the best S21 color. And honestly, after we saw what happened to the S20 series with their very, well, in no simple terms, drab sort of styling last year with that glossy, greyish, blackish finish.
It did lack some style and class, but they've made up for that.
Yeah, they've definitely made up for that, because I think they realized with the Note 20 series that, you know what, people do appreciate a nice looking phone more than the internals. And to be fair, they've given both this time. There's a few sacrifices that this S21 gets compared to the Ultra, and actually compared to last year's S20 Plus, but still, on paper, it is a very good device, and in practice, I'm glad to report that it is a very, very good device to use.
So yeah, beautiful design, and in terms of essentials, you do get your dual stereo speakers, you do get a USB Type-C, no headphone jack over there, and there is a SIM slot, but there is no expansion for your micro SD. You get, how much, I think?
128 GB in this model, but up to 256 GB.
But up to 256, but no expandable storage whatsoever. Other than that, let's quickly talk about that gorgeous display. And as always, Samsung doesn't disappoint, but there is one negative over here. Unlike the S21 Ultra, which gets a 1440p panel or QHD plus resolution, this one is limited to FHD plus, which is pretty weird. You don't expect this from Samsung, but they have just gone out and done it this time around.
The fact that the S21 Plus doesn't get the QHD plus in comparison to the S21 Ultra, okay, that's fine. Maybe they wanted to cut costs somewhere. But compared to last year, that's a little weird, because the S20 Plus, I should say, had pretty much everything the Ultra had as well. But the only thing the Ultra,
100x
space zoom and a slightly larger form factor and everything. But this year, it genuinely feels like Samsung is trying to tell customers, you know what, if you want all the bells and whistles, you have to go for the Ultra. Otherwise, you're going to get a little bit here and there. We're going to hold it back. We're not going to give you all the features, everything that you require. But for the most part, I have said this before, it's very hard to differentiate between a QHD plus panel and an FHD plus panel, especially when they're both from Samsung, and especially when you're not using them side by side all the time. Like if you're just using it like this every day, like I did, I could barely tell that this is an FHD plus panel.
I mean, if you ask me like, hey, are you okay with using a 1080p panel? I'm going to say, yeah, absolutely, there's no issue. But as a tech reviewer, these are things that we do look out for, and we will nitpick. But yeah, if you are not going to be pixel peeping, and if you're someone who isn't that bothered with what resolution that screen is, and if you keep them side by side, most of the times you won't be able to tell the difference. We can tell the difference because I've been using so many Samsung phones with QHD plus resolution, and I can notice a very little drop in quality, not a whole lot, but it is there, it is visible, but only to the trained eye.
My biggest gripe about the lack of QHD plus is that this is again Samsung telling us, either you're going to get 120 hertz or you're going to get QHD plus, because that's what they did initially when they introduced the high refresh rate. And this is sort of a kick in the gut that again, you know what? We're still not going to give you QHD plus. You think you're going to get it? No, you're not going to get it. You're going to get 120 hertz. You're going to be happy with that. But to be fair, the 120 hertz is really nice. It's buttery smooth. Now, on the technical aspect, it is slightly different from the 120 hertz on that. That goes as low as 10 hertz when it's idling or when it's doing things like reading ebooks, etc. It won't refresh that many times. This, on the other hand, goes only as low as 48 hertz. For now, let's focus on what is probably the second most important feature on a Samsung smartphone, which is the rear cameras. What Samsung is focused on this year is the algorithms and the tuning behind the scenes, and that honestly, it's become really, really nice now. Last year, we couldn't have easily said that Samsung was very good at portrait pictures. It wasn't. Edge detection was a little bit lazy and hit and miss sometimes, but on this year's, I think these are some of the best portrait shots I've seen from a smartphone in a long time. And
it's interesting because this doesn't have a depth sensor at all. It's a triple camera setup, but without a depth sensor. And you're used to seeing that in the S series phones, also in the Note series phones. But this just goes to show that Samsung is really keeping things simple with the S21 Plus and also the regular S21. They've decided to go, all the bells and whistles, like you said, it's going to be reserved for the S21 Ultra. But right now, even in the camera department, we'll keep it simple. And it's fine because it's simple, because it is still a very, very good camera. Like you showed me some photos, it takes spectacular images, great colors, great dynamic range, and excellent portrait pictures, like you said. So it does the job. I mean, if you're a camera buff, you don't have to necessarily go for this unless you really want those zoom features. This is also a very good option.
To be fair, that gets up to 100x zoom, this gets up to 30x. And honestly, the party piece for that one is the moon shots, which also somewhat maxes out at 50x. After 50x, they don't look super crispy. And same is the case here. In 30x, they look crispy. But since you can't take it any further, you can't really see that the loss of quality in those moon pictures. So if you do like taking pictures of the moon, you can get them with this as well. But that's as far, at least for me, where the zoom capabilities go till. Because if you try using them in any real world scenario, they're not going to do that
I think during daytime, it's hit or miss.
Exactly.
But if you like all your, taking astro pictures of the sky or of the night sky, then you'll get some fantastic moon shots with the S21 Ultra. And also with the 30x, it's not bad at all.
Also, this does take 8K video, just like that one. So you do have that option. Although, again, I won't recommend it because until you have a really large sensor that's covering your entire smartphone processor system, you're not really going to get all those crispy 8K videos.
And in terms of your front camera, you do get 10 megapixel sensor, which is far lower than the massive 40 megapixel sensor you get on the Ultra.
But crispy shots. Very nice shots. Honestly, this is one phone that I actually enjoy taking selfies on. Usually I hate taking selfies. I will never honestly, if I could remove the Face ID from my main iPhone, I would just totally do it. But on this was the first phone I've ever used that I actually enjoy taking selfies on, because also this time Samsung gave us the option of either using natural or bright skin toning. So if you say natural, then it will give you natural. It won't do all those weird skin toning effects, skin smoothing, whitening, all of that will be just turned off, which is really good, and the selfies show that. Apart from the front camera now, we can talk about battery, I think, because battery is something that this smartphone is sort of, again, like you said, the middle child. So it does get a larger battery than the S21, but a smaller battery than the S21 Ultra, and that shows because when I use this with mixed and heavy usage, which means every time I picked up the device, I was doing some intensive task, whether it was mobile gaming or taking videos and pictures or doing some multitasking or browsing, then you could really see that the screen on time gets eaten into quite heavily. So with absolutely balls to the wall, full heavy usage, I got around 3.5-4 hours maximum of screen on time, which is not great. But more importantly, when I turned it more into a content consumption device, which is I was using it more to watch videos, Netflix, high resolution stuff, it gave me up to 10 hours of screen on time. So,
so that's
that
the
basically indicates
key focus area for Samsung is
exactly
content watching.
Samsung is basically saying that if you really need all the battery life in the world and you need that juice, then you better go for the Ultra. But if content consumption is more up your alley, if that's what you really need, and you need to take the odd selfie and nice pictures here and there, then sure, this can get that done. But speaking of gaming, it can handle gaming well, because that Exynos 2100 really has been beefed up from the previous Exynos 990. Still don't get the Snapdragon, that's still a gripe, but let's leave that aside.
But I think it is Exynos 2100 is catching up. Now we know it's getting better results in benchmark scores, in the CPU benchmark scores, but it's still lagging behind in the GPU scores. But if rumors are to be believed, Samsung is also working on a new Exynos processor that will hopefully solve that issue down the line. I don't know how accurate these reports are, but if that is true, then that's great, because it is about time that Samsung with Exynos just catches up with Qualcomm, because it's long overdue.
That being said, performance on this was faultless. At no time did I feel like, you know what, I'm really stressing out the processor. 8GB RAM was more than enough on this. I didn't feel the need for 12GB RAM or anything. Multitasking was fine. I could pick up apps previously left open, no problem whatsoever. And like I said, gaming on something like Call of Duty Mobile, was absolutely fine. No drop frames, no lag, nothing. So on that front, absolutely spotless. No complaints for the Exynos 2100. Now, I did say that the battery is good enough for 10 to 12 hours if you're doing like mostly content consumption, but what about charging? Well, on the charging front,
there's no charger in the box.
Exactly.
Anymore.
You do not get the charger anymore in the box. So I was using my old 25-watt Samsung charger that I got with my Note 8 actually.
And that is the charger that it is compatible with 25 watt fast charging. 25 watt isn't bad, but I mean in today's day and age with Realme and OnePlus offering you all these super fast
Xiaomi
chargers,
coming with 100 plus watts charging.
I think that's the one area now Samsung really needs to improve upon. Everything else, they've pretty much, even the software, they've pretty much nailed it.
Android One UI 3.1 on this one. It's absolutely stellar. I love it. I love the few tweaks they've made to the UI UX.
And with
it's really nice.
With the One UI 3.1, you do get that new director's view feature, which we spoke about during the S21 Ultra review as well, where you can basically use all the cameras at the same time and do live switching between them, which is great if you happen to be a blogger.
Yeah, you can actually use that to take footage from all different sensors all at the same time, no problem whatsoever. And that is again what I think Samsung tries to use to appeal to their base, that you know what, you need a phone that's going to do all your video and photo capabilities absolutely fine. You need a phone that's going to take calls and do your light gaming and very good for content consumption. Then you really don't have too much of a choice apart from this. Yes, you can obviously look at the cheaper OnePluses and other smartphones of the world, but then again, you're not getting the whole package. You're not getting what Samsung usually offers to its loyalists, which is just superior build quality, a great screen, good battery life, good usage experience, and then of course, one thing that always plays a huge role in any smartphone buying decision, the after sales service, because that's something also that Samsung is known for. They go to the ends of the earth to provide you with after sales service. So on that front,
with all of that, Samsung also does have a habit of bringing a hefty price tag, and this one's nearly 82,000 rupees. The S21 Plus. It is expensive, but just remember that down the line, Samsung will definitely lower their prices with offers and sales and all that special stuff. So if right now it's too expensive, you can always buy it down the line when it becomes a little bit cheaper. So that's something to keep in mind. But overall verdict time, bottom line, if the S20, in a world where the S21 Ultra exists, right, and we're not even talking about the regular S21, by the way, let's not talk about that right now. Why would you go for this and not the behemoth that I have in my hand?
Mostly because of what you just said, behemoth. If you're someone like me who doesn't like carrying a phone that is super big and chunky and takes a lot of space in the pocket and in the hand, then this is definitely the nicer one to go for. Also, this visually looks far better than that one. And one more thing that may just tip the scales in this one's favor, it has a flat display. So if you're someone that likes
That's
a flat
debatable.
display,
That's debatable.
exactly.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
someone that likes a flat display over a curved display like I do, then yes, this will appeal to you more than the S21 Ultra will. But overall, again, just an absolutely amazing machine from Samsung.
Okay, on that note, I think it's time to sign off. That was the review for the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. Let us know what you think about it in the comment section. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.